Welcome back again. This is part 2 of our lesson on the scientific method. Now, the last video we just focused on what a method is, what a process is, as well, we're having some camera problems today. Anyway, we're having a method, as we said, is a process or routine. Now, the science part of it. Well, what is science? Well, how does an astronaut float on the moon? How does electricity get to a light bulb? Why does rain fall from the sky? What are all these three things that I just stated? Well, of course, they're questions. Now, science is defined by a system of acquiring knowledge. Well, how do we know what knowledge to acquire? Well, we ask questions. And we also, with this system, observe things. Observe meaning what we see. And we also have to test or experiment experimentation to describe and explain natural phenomena. And the science also refers to an organized body of knowledge. So like all those preceding things, those are routines, but they're organized routines. So nothing can get discovered unless there's an organized way, or a more plotted way of discovering a goal. What was the goal when we get up in the morning? What's the goal? Is to have a process to get to school on time. What's the process to getting into a car? To make sure that you have your keys, that your seatbelt is on, and that you're able to put the key in the ignition. That's all part of a method. That's all part of a process, a routine. Now, during that routine, after that routine, you have a question. How do you get into that car? How do you get ready for school? That's what science is about. It's about asking questions about undiscovered phenomena. So about the rain in the sky. Well, we know the cloud fills up with gas, and it gets so filled up with liquid that it falls to the ground. And then the runoff from the ground gets to the ocean. The ocean then vaporizes it. It turns the liquid into a gas. Condensation occurs. And then it evaporates into the air. Okay? So that's a process of the water cycle. Now, but that process has to be organized. And it also has to be observed, and there are different experimentations and different tests that I'm sure were done to come to that conclusion. So as we click the science definition off the screen, and I am back on, the scientific method is a process of discovery based on the ability to see, your observations, and also the data that you acquire. Now, the steps of the scientific method or of discovery work like this. And we'll just minimize a couple things here so it'll make it clearer for all you guys as we'll push that out. Okay, there we go. Now, the scientific method, as we'll see from the pointer on the screen, ask a question. So you can ask many questions. How does an astronaut float on the moon? You can ask a simple question. Who's on a dollar bill? Okay, so that's a question. Now, you're not guessing the answer. You're not throwing an answer out there. You're just inquiring about something you don't know. Okay? And that's what science is. It's inquiries about things you don't know. So you ask a question about it. So the first method to a scientific method is you ask a question. Then the second step is you do background research. And then you construct a hypothesis. And then you test an experiment, and then you analyze the results, and then you draw a conclusion and a hypothesis. Now, we're going to get into this in the next tape, so I'm going to stop it right now.